he's not quite another. I know he has Saiyan blood to go with a righteous heart.
Believe me, I'd love to stop Beerus, but I'm full-blooded Earthling.
I'm not trying to
Fight!
Round 5.
Lord Beerus, have you had a chance to sample this creamy confection they call pudding? That's odd. I could have sworn there were a dozen cups of it a minute ago. Oh.
Kindly hand over one of those pudding cups to Lord Beerus.
One for me too, please.
No! Boo eats!
What?
Pudding is all for Boo!
You're being a rude guest.
All pudding cups are Boo's!
Come when I get this up for 1 second. You made me mad! Come on, boys, let's...
No,
No point in holding back now.
Thank you.
I'll take some pride in the fact that it took Beerus the Destroyer to kill me. Indeed. That's a fine way to rationalize your death.
Your selfish pudding cup fight has ruined my 38th birthday party!
Damn.
That's my...
But I do like to see what everybody trying to stop Beerus, and then of course you can see in Gotenks too, him getting spanked.
Spanked to the point he de-transformed and went back to his base form.
One thing too, other thing too, I was thinking, you know how Frieza tried to make Beerus and Majin Buu kind of like, oh, one thing my dad said two people I should never mess with is Majin Buu and Lord Beerus. I was thinking like, should Beerus know anything about Majin Buu?
That's what I was thinking too.
Like, should you know like
Whis knows, but
Whis knows him?
He knew that Goku and Vegeta go Super Saiyan, so he's been watching.
So he's
But Buu occurred when when Beerus was asleep. But then again, he was
the whole Dragon Ball Z Beerus was asleep.
He had been created before in Havoc.
Exactly. That's why I was thinking.
There should be some. So I wondered.
And I was thinking like, where was Beerus during that time? Like, did he not stop Majin Buu? Or he was just like, oh fuck it, I'm gonna let him destroy everything and see what happens? Like, or
it was interesting to see them interact.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Like, should we know anything about him? But yeah, how'd you feel about this actual scene?
I thought it was cool. This is one of Vegeta's better showings.
Mm-hmm.
He was shown to fare better than Goku in his Super Saiyan 3 form against Beerus the Destroyer. And, I mean, he wasn't going to win it by any stretch of the imagination, but if you compare this fight side by side, complete night and day. Goku didn't make him exert any effort, and Vegeta was able to irritate him.
Why do you think that is exactly?
Why do I think that is?
Even with Vegeta seemingly being less stronger
I
than
think
Goku.
it was his rage.
His rage? Okay.
That's the only thing I could chalk it up to.
Mm-hmm.
Goku, he just thought it was like a friendly sparring match. But Vegeta had a real reason to turn up on him.
Yeah.
Fight!
Round 6.
Lord Beerus, I need a minute to try one last crazy idea.
Idea for what?
For summoning this Super Saiyan God guy you want to meet. Can you give me like 5 minutes? Just a little time, that's all I need.
All right, you've got 5 minutes.
Yes, thanks! Eternal Shenron! By your name, I summon you forth!
I am Shenron. I shall grant you any wish. Now speak.
You ever heard of a thing called the Super Saiyan God?
The Super Saiyan God can only exist temporarily in your world, when multiple Saiyans project their energies onto another.
It's more for Lord Beerus. He said he'll blow up the Earth unless he meets the Super Saiyan God, right?
Huh? The Lord Beerus? Oh, pleased to meet you. I've heard things. Likewise. 5 Saiyans with righteous hearts must join hands and instill their inner light into another. I have given you the knowledge you desired. Please excuse me.
That was crazy.
What was Shenron being frazzled?
Yeah, I don't care how many times I see Shenron get summoned. It is always cool. With the exception, the only time I didn't like it was in Resurrection F because he looks small. You remember that?
He looks small in Resurrection?
Yes.
Okay. That's why you didn't like it?
No. He's supposed to be like some huge dragon.
Fight!
Round 7.
May I please have your attention? Shenron specifically said that the inner light of 5 Saiyans with righteous hearts must be instilled into another. That makes the total number you need 6.
So one more? Where are we gonna find that?
Hold on, Lord Beerus. There is one more Saiyan here.
What are you talking about? Who's the other Saiyan?
Guys, Patel is pregnant.
Are we really having a baby?
We are.
You could have told us about 30 minutes ago for down with AC.
Will you be transforming into a god or not?
Gotta at least give it a shot when the Earth's at stake.
All right.
Pleased, Beerus? It seems their efforts have been quite successful.
Yes, it's my reward for being so patient. Are we ready to begin yet?
Yeah, as long as you keep your word.
Why, of course. If you can prove you're stronger than me now, I'll happily do you the favor of not destroying this world. How does it feel becoming a god?
It's incredible. My life pushing myself to be the strongest, and now I learn there's a power level I'll never reach on my own. And I hate that.
Come on, let's follow them!
Right.
One thing that stands out with the scene, though, is definitely the animation. I think, like in this final battle, I think the animation really it upgrades a little bit. Whether it's the woods scene when they're fighting in the woods, or whether it's like when they're flying through the city. I think they try to switch between 3D, and of course it doesn't look as good as Resurrection of Frieza or even Dragon Ball Z Broly, of course, or Dragon Ball Super Broly, of course. But I do notice that, and I like that.
But there are still some moments. So there's a difference between animation and art style, and like the very last clip where it's just Gohan, the very last scene in this. Whereas Gohan and who else? But yeah, they both go back to Gohan and Vegeta. They don't look that great. They just look weird.
Yeah, it's not a consistent thing.
It's very inconsistent the way they're drawn throughout.
Yeah,
but I'm not gonna harp on it too much. It is what it is. We know about this. This is well known within the fandom.
Yeah, this is the first movie that they came back, like when they first came back with Dragon Ball Super. This is the first movie they did, right?
Yeah, well, this is actually a Dragon Ball Z movie.
Well, it says Dragon Ball Z, but it's really Super, though. Because Dragon
This is
Ball
the
Z,
transition into Super,
Resurrection of F was Dragon Ball Z too. So, yeah. But yeah, so I think it's because they're just like still switching over and they're trying to get used to it, I think. But There's definitely some moments in here where it looks good, and definitely some moments where it was like, it looks more Kai-ish, and I don't know, like that. Yeah, but yeah. How do you feel about the Super Saiyan God transformation?
I was curious. So for one, I have two thoughts, and one is a bit of speculation on my part. That we can see. So for one, the same thing you had. Why did they not choose to give Vegeta the power up? Because Vegeta fared better than Goku did, but the people who were on the Z Fighters and their family, they didn't see the fight between Goku and Beerus, so they have no knowledge of that. They have no reference to compare the fights between Vegeta and Beerus.
Oh, they didn't see the one between.
So they couldn't say, "Hey, Goku, like you got your ass whooped," but Vegeta, but they just defaulted to Goku for whatever reason, and well, because it's the Goku show. Shout out to my sister. Hey, let's watch Goku. That's what she always asked me. I said, no, it's Dragon Ball Z. No, she was right. This is a Goku show. And my second bit was, what if they used the events of the Super Saiyan God transformation where they were holding hands? What if they use that as a way to give Pan God Ki in Super in the future?
In order for her to do what? Turn into...
I don't know, but to give her some kind of mystic power to explain something, kind of like when Gohan transformed against Cell, kind of like when he headbutt Raditz, like he has some inexplicable power. Hers could be, oh, well, she has a bit of God Ki because she was part of the Super Saiyan God ritual.
Yeah, but
really
wasn't Kid Trunks and Goten also? So do they have God Ki too? Does that mean
they could do that? I don't know.
I mean, yeah.
At this point,
it would be interesting to see where they go with Pan at in general, and see how different it is from Dragon Ball GT.
Tingly feeling in her back.
I forgot about that.
She goes Super Saiyan Blue with a tingly feeling in her back. Maybe go to a chiropractor.
Oh man, but yeah, it would be interesting if they even get to that point where Saiyan is still,
wrong. Well, that's why it's a spinoff.
Yeah, I guess a spinoff. But if they even get to the point where Sand is even a child, a teen, or whatever. But
like, imagine if let's say Goku and Vegeta, they become, I don't know, deities in the sense of like they're off and they have a universal duty, and that eliminates them from the plot, so that they're still available, but they can't intervene and do things. So that therefore the Z Fighters, I mean that would work.
Yeah. Fight.
Final round, round 8.
It's progressing. It's almost like Beerus is training him.
I still haven't even come close to using my full power in this fight.
I've been going at about 80% myself.
What? You're holding back? You're taking me seriously now? You're about to find out! Destroy my If you're gonna use blast against me, it's my turn! Damn it! Your god power, it ran out some time ago. What? Seriously? The power's all yours, like you want it. Embrace it. It's gonna do major damage and I can't stop it! You're too strong! Then give up and accept your planet's fate!
How'd you do that? What was that power?
I'm not sure exactly. Why did you stop?
I just want to hear you say that you give up.
Huh? Well, I do.
Well, I'm happy to see you're finally realizing the full terror of Beerus the Destroyer. But I know strength when I see it, and yours is formidable. You're my second strongest foe.
Wow, only the second strongest? Well, that's a drag.
While it's true that he waits on me hand and foot, he's also my teacher.
Your teacher? Seriously? Does that mean you're not the strongest in the universe?
Depends on which reality you're referring to. Well then, I said I'd destroy Earth, and now it's time to fulfill my promise.
Look at that, Lord Beerus. You destroyed Earth like you said you would, just not very much of it.
Thanks, Lord Beerus.
Mrs. Vegeta, I'm sorry for disrupting your festivities.
Never mind that. You should be apologizing for hitting me.
Yes, forgive me.
So if you come back to visit, we'll fight again, right, Lord Beerus?
Of course.
Noise. I swear it was.
How'd you feel about the
The conclusion of the fight?
Yeah.
I thought it was a nice conclusion, and it was exactly what Piccolo said. He's training.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't think that Beerus was actually going to destroy the planet. After he said, what the contingency was that, okay, will you fight me? And so when they did that, I pretty much knew the direction they were going to go in. I realized that Beerus wasn't going to be a reoccurring threat. He'd be a character, but he wouldn't be an op like Frieza.
Yeah, one thing with me personally while watching this movie, you never really felt like it was a big, like, Beerus was a huge threat to the Earth. Like, you never thought he was actually going to destroy the Earth.
He was never malicious. There wasn't that intent.
Yeah,
He said it.
Yeah, even with like people like Vegeta trying worried about people pissing him off, like you never really thought like he said it probably like 15 times throughout this whole film, like, oh, I'm gonna destroy the Earth, but you never really thought like, oh my God, he's a real big threat, even with how strong he is in this movie.
Because he could have just done it.
Yeah, exactly. Could have done it at least 17 times throughout the actual movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, you never felt like it was an actual threat, which is, I guess you could say, one of my problems with this movie. You could have just left this in the series, and didn't really have to make it this a movie, as far as because it wasn't really no stakes to me. You know what I mean? Like, Beerus was in it, of course. You get introduction to Beerus, and it's kind of really the introduction to Dragon Ball Super. That's why I said you can
the multiverse.
Yeah. So yeah, you don't really need to show it because it really wasn't that many stakes, but it was still an enjoyable movie, I would say, though.
Now, another Brian hypothetical scenario. So, what do you think about the prospect of Vegeta being the one to ultimately kill Beerus? Because he was the one that wanted to eliminate the Saiyans. Like, just that he finds out later, and when Vegeta has the Ultra Ego. Because in Super, in one of the movies actually, Whis makes a comment about he says, like, Vegeta doesn't know that you're the one who told Frieza to destroy the Saiyans. And
it was your idea to destroy planet.
And Beerus is kind of like, shh, don't let him find out. Because the last time Vegeta snapped on him, you saw what happened. So imagine what a more powerful version of Vegeta would do.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd kill him, but what if that is the direction they do go?
You know, as much as, Vegeta cares about the Saiyan race and everything, I don't think it'll be a huge thing, though, to be honest with you. Because I think part of what Goku does throughout Dragon Ball Z and really in Dragon Ball Super, he convinces Vegeta that, like, the Saiyans are gone. Like, the Earth is now your race.
This is your new home.
This is your new home. You need to worry about protecting them instead of being so focused on the past. So, I think Vegeta. That's another reason why I asked. Like, do you think the fact that Beerus came up with the idea really dilutes Frieza? Because I feel like that's a master thing for Frieza to do and Vegeta to take revenge on Frieza, because Frieza was like, okay, I'm gonna destroy this planet because I'm worried about a Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
So the fact that Beerus' idea is like, okay. But to be honest, I think Vegeta doesn't really look at Planet Vegeta or look at like the Saiyan race the same way as he did in Dragon Ball Z. You know what I mean?
Compared to with Frieza, for sure. And I did, as regarding him accepting his new status as an Earthling, I saw a very interesting post the other day on Twitter, and they said Vegeta over the course of Dragon Ball Z, you can see his attitude towards being an Earthling reflected in his attire.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it becomes less and less throughout the series.
At the end of the series, he's
Majin Buu saga. He has just straight blue.
Exactly.
No sand on.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I mean that was interesting. And then Goku in Super, he starts to acknowledge his Saiyan heritage in the Granola arc, and he has the visions of Bardock. So it's very interesting how I like this movie. For one, it showed it opened up the space for growth for them both as characters, particularly Goku in this film, and again in Resurrection F, more growth for Goku. Vegeta kinda is on the right path, and then like every film, I feel like it moves the plot forward, and it shows not necessarily in the way that I would like with the transformations being distinct and then learning how to use more strategy in their combat, but them being more developed as characters. You see, in terms of their attitude towards fighting and how they train, you do see that change. So yeah, I do like it.
And also to your original question about if Vegeta would be mad at Beerus, I think he still has a grudge against Frieza. Like he hates Frieza. Like, Beerus he didn't have the same effect as Frieza had him, because Frieza had him in bondage for basically most of his life. So I think
you're working for somebody that annihilated your people.
Exactly.
and you just have to come to work with a smile.
Yeah. Bow, Lord Frieza. What is my next assignment?
You saw him put his foot on your dad's head.
Yeah. So it's interesting. But yeah, how do you feel about the movie overall? Do you like the introduction of Beerus and Whis? Because I do like them.
I do. I feel like they could have done a bit more to convey the gravity, the degree of seriousness. I think because he came off with the Scooby-Doo noises in the beginning, where he was flipping and rolling off the bed and tumbling around in the Warren garb, it did make him less serious. And it was kind of like his appearance doesn't quite match the status of a destroyer. But if they would have presented him in a much more serious fashion, as they did in some clips, they definitely did in this movie, but from the start it was just more serious, I think that would have made a difference. That's the only thing that I would have really changed with their introduction. Like I said, I enjoyed this film.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the introduction of Beerus and Whis, that slight alteration. I do like the fact that Vegeta did have a bit of a moment there. And I thought it was great. The only thing I didn't like was the fact that there were small points that we poked throughout the entire movie, but they weren't enough to detract from the quality of it overall. And I'm just not a fan of retelling things that we see in movie form in anime. I mean, we talked about this before.
Yeah.
I feel like you should either do one or the other. If you do it as a movie, there's no need to retell it.
Yeah.
That's just my take.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Really, my problem was really the Super Saiyan God. I'm just like, well, how does it, make it, well, Super Saiyan Blue, really, because I feel like it was really no manifestation of the actual form outside of this with Goku, and really Vegeta, too. Like, you don't really see him becoming Super Saiyan God or really Super Saiyan Blue for the first time until it actually happens in Super, and he mastered it already. Or no, and really in Resurrection of Frieza, because they know it's Super Saiyan Blue, but there's no in between then. You're like, oh, he reaches that form.
Side note, though, Vegeta attains Super Saiyan God by himself. He doesn't do the same. But then also, he was part of the Kumbaya where they was holding hands.
Yeah, so maybe he has that
energy. So that gives more credence to my theory of Pan and
But how you guys feel about the movie though? Do you guys like the Battle of the Gods? Basically the first iteration of Dragon Ball Super, them continuing the story of Goku and Vegeta, and them introducing Beerus and Whis. So, do you guys like it? Let us know, you know. And do you guys like the movie? You guys like it better than Resurrection of Frieza? Maybe you like it better than Dragon Ball Super.
Or did you like the anime adaptation better than the movie? I'd love to hear that as well.
Yeah, I don't know how different it is, but yeah. But if you guys like the discussion, or if you guys like the movie reaction, don't forget to hit the like button. We're gonna see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Oh, I love spring.
Quit your daydreaming!